Alright, just saying, this is my second time filming this review. Last time I filmed the review, it turns out that I didn't even press the record button, so let's do this again. I'm going to be talking, of course, about the Hottie and the Nottie, the winner of the 128 Worst Film Tournament. Oh, help me.
This movie sucks!
The Hottie and the Nottie is a film that's actually real. That's its real title. It exists. And it's really bad. It was also directed by a person that makes films. This is a rough one, guys. This is one of the worst films I have ever seen in my life. And I can't believe what I saw. I've seen a lot of bad movies, but this is in the top 3 worst that I've ever seen. So, I guess I'm gonna have to talk about it. Alright. The Hottie and the Nottie was directed by Tom Putnam and stars Joel David Moore, Christine Lakin, and Paris Hilton. And just to show the type of quality that we're getting with this film, Paris Hilton herself executive produced the film. So yeah, it's about on par with her sex tape. Except the sex tape is a lot better. But the quality is still just as bad. So, what exactly is The Hottie and the Nottie about? Well, it's about this guy named Nate Cooper who is down on his luck and he decides to find a girl that he has been head over heels for since he met her in the first grade, and so he travels all the way from Maine to California to meet her to try to date her. And it turns out she won't date him unless he finds a boyfriend for her best friend, June Fig, who is the Nottie of the film. She's this ugly, disgusting girl with just really horrible teeth, bad hygiene. She has boogers coming out of her nose. She has hair. Her hair is falling out on the top of her head. She's got bad skin, moles. She's just disgusting. And the film is disgusting as well. Because this is one of the most offensive films I've seen. Just by showing, a person that isn't exactly, the most beautiful or prettiest person in the world, and they just depict it as just disgusting and ugly. And in fact, what's even worse is the moral of the film itself. The moral of the film is, if you're pretty, people will like you. If you're ugly, people will hate you. And that's a horrible message to tell people. I mean, that's sick. Because we see June as this disgusting, ugly person, and then she's supposed to be the naughty, and then of course Paris Hilton is supposed to be the hottie. And the film tries every chance it can to just flaunt her on screen. Just show how hot Paris Hilton is. And it's sickening. And in fact, Paris Hilton, I don't even think you're that hot. You're just alright. Like, this film will do whatever it can to focus on her breast, her face, her butt. It does all it can to sexualize her, and it doesn't help much that Paris Hilton has the acting capability of a porn star. I mean, she talks like this through the entire movie. Porn stars are better than you at acting. That's another thing about the film is the soundtrack feels like softcore porno music. I feel like I'm about to see just a porno happen on screen, but sadly it's PG-13. And honestly, I bet you the porno would actually be a lot better than this film. There's not a single character in this film that is likable. They are all written terribly. And from the very beginning of the film, the main character is just despicable, as well as just idiotic and dumb. And okay, the first scene we have with our main character when he meets Paris Hilton in the film, she plays this character named Christabel, which terrible name. He runs up to her and sniffs her hair, Frollo style from Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it's creepy. That's a red flag right there. Why is she even dealing with him? But the movie has to continue, and he's not even the worst character. In fact, Paris Hilton is not even the worst part of this film, and she's awful. One of the worst things in the movie has to be the main character's best friend who looks like a fat, ugly, angry Joe, and he is really creepy in the film. He's the creepiest character in this film. He apparently has just files of where Paris Hilton will be at a certain time, and he has a website, and it's just, oh man, it's just awful, and it's really dirty, and it makes me uncomfortable. That's how I felt through the entire film, was uncomfortable. It's not good, and you just feel sickening, and the film makes you feel so sick. There are some disgusting parts in this film. Like, there's one part that really got me where it shows a close-up of June Fig and a snot bubble comes out of her nose. And at that point, I really wanted to throw up. That was disgusting, and I hated it. I hate gross out humor like that. It's not funny, and it's just disgusting. As well as a part where she has this infected toenail that they keep showing throughout the entire film, and then it gets in some guy's mouth, and it's so bad. It's so disgusting, and it's not funny. I feel awful for Christine Lakin in this film because she's got to put on this awful makeup and be seen as just disgusting and horrible, when in reality, this girl's very beautiful. In fact, she's prettier than Paris Hilton. I just feel so bad for her. I feel bad for all the actors in this film because, I mean, they had to be in it. The only person I don't feel sorry for is Paris Hilton because she's awful in the movie, and also she's a producer on it because, yeah. Also, when you have a bad film like this, you wonder, who do you blame? Well, maybe Paris Hilton can be blamed a little bit. She did executive produce it, but executive producers don't really do much in the way of film. They just kind of back it with money. So, she's out. What about the director, Tom Putnam? Well, he directed it. And honestly, the directing is not the worst part of this film. It's terribly directed. The acting is awful, the direction is really bad, and it just doesn't look like a professional film at all. But he's not the problem with it. I'm sure he's a fine guy. I don't know. I don't know anything else he's made, but I will tell you the person I feel you can really blame for this film, and it's not studio heads or anything, it's the screenwriter, Heidi Ferrer. Because she wrote this piece of crap, and it's just, I can't believe somebody wrote this and thought it was good. I can't believe a studio said, yes, let's make this movie. Like, did they think it was hilarious? Like, I can't imagine the screenplay for this being any better than the film. In fact, I'd say the film is worse because, well, it's visual and yeah, you get to see what was on page come to life. And I, Heidi, if you ever write another movie, do better. And in fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, don't write screenplays ever again, at least for film, because this was horrible. This is one of the worst things I have ever seen. And I've seen some pretty bad films. It's up there with Master of Disguise and Cat in the Hat. Now, I don't know if it's as bad as those films. Time will have to tell, but it's really bad, and I just can't stand films like this. There's no heart. There's no soul in them. They're completely just baffling bad. And they're not funny bad either. This isn't a funny bad movie, which is the type of bad movies I love to watch. I love watching films like The Room or Samurai Cop or Troll 2. Those are great, so bad it's good films. But this is just bad for being bad. And it makes it so miserable to watch. I felt like I was watching a 3-hour film, and the movie is only like 75 minutes plus credits. It's really not that long, but it feels that long. And it's just a horrible waste of your time. If you want to watch one of the worst films ever made, watch it, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is a bad film. It's despicable, it's disgusting, it's revolting, it's got a terrible message, terrible acting, awful direction, and some of the worst writing I've ever seen. I'll give the film this. It has a 3-act structure. That's all I can say. No wonder this movie only made less than $300,000 in the US box office. This film is awful. And I feel so bad for any of those people that saw this movie because you couldn't have liked it. There's nobody that could have liked this film. And this film bombed hard. $9 million budget and it only made a little over $1 million. That's bad. And it's just a terrible, terrible film, and I hate that I had to see it. But I said I was going to watch it if it won, and it did. Kind of regret it now, but at least I never have to see it again. And with all that said, I'm going to give The Hottie and the Nottie a 1 out of 10. This film was awful. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was a terrible experience, and I hated every minute of this film. It was just the worst thing ever. And when you thought it couldn't get worse, it got worse. Yeah, guys, that's my review of the Hottie and the Nottie. I want to thank you guys for watching this review. This was a hard movie to talk about. It's just so bad. But thank you guys for watching, and if you watched the live stream, thanks for watching that too. I just thought that would be a lot of fun, and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. And I want to thank Jerome Latimer for showing this wonderful film to me. And you horrible bastard. You horrible bald bastard. But, yeah. You can thank him for why I saw this film, because I never heard of this film until he talked about it. And I'm glad I never have to see it again. And that's what's great about it. Also, let me just say, the best part of the film was when it was over. But it didn't feel that good finishing it, because I realized I just watched it, and you can't escape that. Anyway, guys, that's all I got to say for now, so as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review.